would you say about the now global economy? Because we seem to be etching more and more towards a place where it's more global. It's not just about being in America to have that level of success. What does that mean for our people when you look at the global market?
I think that whether we look at the global economy or the local economy or the national or regional economy, Black people are going to have the same problems that they're facing, that they faced at any level. Because as above, so below. The fundamental problem that we have in the household economy, and the global economy is going to be the same. And because it stems from this core idea. You ask about what should be the first thing. It's not just saying that you're Black or you're African or any other similar term. It's actually identifying that label with a special relationship with the divine, a special spiritual relationship with something that is bigger than you, something that has lasted longer than you and your personal family and your personal lineage. And I think that's the piece that is missing. As I mentioned earlier, having the sense that you are, for the Chinese, that they're the Middle Kingdom, or that the Jewish community, that they are a chosen people, or for Muslim Arabic culture, that, they have the last prophet and they have a divine mandate to bring God's word to everyone across the planet. These kinds of uh, narratives gives the people a special charter to act in the world in certain ways that you don't have if you're just trying to do you, or you're just trying to get the bag, or just trying to get at it, kind of thing. And so I've seen many conversations talk about looking at these other groups, and to your point earlier, Osei, they have often look at Jewish people, and I'm saying that Jewish American success, or Jewish uh, global success, economically or financially, is not predicated primarily on business. It's in there, but it's not the main ingredient. The main ingredient is the core narrative of being a chosen people and having a certain responsibility, a certain divine, moral, spiritual responsibility. But comes the next step after that, Osei, is inner order. It's social organization. It's what kind of internal order do you build up? When you look at the Jewish community, for example, Judaism in the Torah has 613 laws. Approximately a third of those laws, about 200 or thereabout, or 250 of those laws, are are centered around social relationships. It's how do you relate to the next person? How do you interact with the next person? What kind of obligations do you have to certain people in the community? What do you do under certain circumstances? You talk about getting on code, that's being coded up, right? And so if you're trying to emulate Jewish success by saying we're going to do Jewish business plan and so on and so forth, I saw a brother talked about, he's a well-known brother too, talked about, we're going to get a business plan like the Jewish folks do. You are several layers out from what needs to be done, my brother. You got to start with let's get a a set of codes that we are aligned with, that we will train our people to be in alignment with. You can't just write it down somewhere and say, here's the code, put it on this website, go read it. No, you have to build institutions and organizations to train the babies, the elders, the men, the women, wives, husbands, entrepreneurs. Every element, every segment of society, every role in society has to be scripted into the new script. One of the things that Amy Shu again talks about, is the Confucius nature of East Asian success. And it's not just her. Lee Kuan Yew talks about it. Other leaders and scholars have talked about this. Well, the Analects of Confucius has over 500 um, refrains or principles, and approximately half of them are centered around social organization, social relationships. And so, what you have in these successful communities, the Hindus have a similar kind of text, and social organization, what you have is that there are rules that regulate relationships. How will we relate one to the other? How will we interact one to the other, from the household to the village to the community to the city to the government institutions, all of which can the or people are held accountable to this kind of moral ethical principles that are based either on law or some other code. And then the people are trained perpetually on that, so they know how to behave, they know how to act for their interest. Black folks just want to say, y'all not doing right, and shame on you. Why can't y'all get it right? What's wrong with you guys? And we think that shame uh, and giving many speeches will change our condition. It will not.
Yeah.
It will not. We have to rescript our people into a new narrative, and that requires not just getting on social media and giving insights and smart, uh, well lauded uh, lectures, but it requires getting our hand dirty and going out there and building institutions, building organizations that train our people into every role that we need them to play for our collective success, including the business role, but definitely the family structure. How do we train husbands? How do we train wives? How do we train sons and daughters? What disciplines, what attributes do we need you to have? And therefore, we should be asking these kinds of questions of ourselves and train our people to be able to carry out those roles effectively and to be competitive with other people in the world, so that we can contribute and also secure our interest in the world, and contribute to global uh, uh, productivity, but also secure our interest, our piece of the global pie, that we can make sure that our people are taken care of.